Today we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. I want to introduce my partner, Liza Jane Brown. So that book is out for sale now, also on Kindle and on Amazon. It is in my opinion, it's the new Linda Goodman sun sign. But Linda Goodman in 1967, she gave us what are the sun signs like. This book tells you why they're like they are. So I'm not going to promote it too much, but it tells you why an Aries is the way they are, why it changes to Taurus, why it changes to Gemini, etc. But the book I consider to be a real prima facie book for all my future teaching. Astrology is a really good basic way that it's at the basis of all of these sciences. And you'll find that within the great theoretical minds, they're believers in astrology because they go beyond the physical, they get into the archetypal. Now, I watched what the Bleep in 2004, and I was blown off of my stool, and it just blew me away completely. And then I rented it last week to review, and I was surprised at how much of it was old hat to me. Even though there's so much I don't know, I've been doing so much reading in quantum physics in the past 10 years that it made a lot more sense to me. We're going to not bore you too much with the astrology end of things, but there are things you will need to hear because then you'll start to see how these two things blend. Liza is particularly well read in the quantum field and in the holographic field. We've spent a lot of time with Stanislav Grof, books by the late David Hawkins, and Ram Dass is always pointing his finger at the different quantum parts, etc. So there's an awful lot we want to talk about. I'm not going to say much more about this book other than the fact that this is a really excellent way to get your basis down, because what we did is we showed what makes a Cancer the way they are, what makes a Leo the way they are. Not these books you read and you read these adjectives. This tells you why. And when you start investigating the why, you start to see the archetypal essence that's underneath all of us. And so what you see in astrology is the old world is dying, which means the old world of you're going to meet a handsome stranger next Friday, or you're going to win the lotto next week. That world of predictive astrology is dying, and now it's being replaced by archetypal astrology, and its leader in the field is one Richard Tarnas, who works very closely with Stanislav Grof. So if there's any book that's out now that's probably the Bible of all of astrology ever, it is the new book by Richard Tarnas called Cosmos and Psyche, and it will blow your it'll blow the doors off your car, because this guy took 30 years to write it, and he shows you during the Vietnam era where were the planets, during World War II where were the planets, during the Kennedy assassination where were the planets, and he just shows you so much proof all the way back to the time of Christ and before. He shows you how the planets didn't cause these events, but they symbolized what happened. And that's where we're going to get into the quantum and heavily into synchronicity.